Hey up everybody, welcome to the Aldo Cycling YouTube channel where today I am going to be previewing the Tour de la Provence, which is Julian Alaphilippe's first race of the season, so there's quite a lot of anticipation around his first race. There's going to be 4 stages. There's a prologue, a sprint stage, kind of intermediate stage which could end it in a lot of different ways, and then there's also the Queen stage on stage 4. So let's just jump straight in and look at stage 1, which is the prologue. It is 7 kilometers long. It's not overly technical. There's certainly corners in there, but not too many to create like a lot of technicality. So it will favour a lot of the more powerful riders, which could see perhaps somebody by the likes of Quintana lose somewhere in the realms of a couple of seconds every kilometre to somebody who's really good at time trialling, who's also a GC guy. So you might expect Alaphilippe to put perhaps maybe 15 to 20 seconds into somebody like Quintana. But in terms of who's going to be going for the win, I think a lot of names stick out, but especially Ivan Sosa, who finished 8th at the World Championships last year. And of course, coming from a track, he's quite used to these sub 10 kilometre efforts. So he's got to be coming in as one of the main favourites. Then you've also got 3 guys from De Koning Alpha Vinyl, Alaphilippe himself, who we saw doing a really good TT when he was flying at the Tour de France in 2019. You've got Kasper Asgreen as well, the Danish time trial champion. And then you've also got their new signing, Ilan van Wilder, who put in some very good performances at the Criterium du Dauphiné last year and also the Tour of Romandy, where he posted some very good TT results. So it's not out of the ordinary if you see him coming into the top 10 here. There's also some outside names. Can Tom Bowley of Cofidis roll back the years to when he was at BMC? When in the Tour of Romandy in 2018 and 2019, he was just dominating prologues. So can he roll back the years and do that again? Patrick Bevin is down for this race as well. Of course, he's incredibly good on time trials too. And then you've also got Matej Bodnar. Of course, I think he won a TT at the Tour, I think it was in 2017. I think that probably Ivan Sosa is going to win this stage. It's probably not too much of a hot take, but I think that's just the way it's going to be. Stage 1 is going to be a sprint stage. I know there's a category 3 climb early on, but it's so flat and there's 152 kilometres. When you look at the start list, there's not too many sprinters here. Probably the fastest ones are Davide Ballerini, Ivan Sosa, Rudy Barbier, John Degenkolb, and maybe Thomas Boudin, Louis Aski and Lorenzo Manzan. So really there's not a lot of sprinters here. There's not a lot of lead outs here either. I'd say the strongest lead outs come from Team DSM and also from Israel Premier Tech. Their sprinters will of course be Rudy Barbier and John Degenkolb. But other than that, Quick Step, they don't have a very strong lead out here. They've got a lot of climbers here to support Alaphilippe's GC ambitions. And even Sosa, of course, they've also got Carapaz here preliminary. So how good is Sosa's lead out going to be? So actually some of the fastest sprinters don't have a very good lead out. Despite that, I still think that Ballerini will win this just because of he's probably just the fastest sprinter here. I think that John Degenkolb will be another one who I'd expect to do well with such a good lead out. But for me, I think Ballerini, he's got Alaphilippe and Asgreen who do regularly do lead outs, so I'd expect him to be just fine. Stage 3 ends in Manosque, which is where Davide Ballerini won last year when he was absolutely flying at the Tour de la Provence. And that's the stage where I think Alaphilippe crashed in the last kilometre and Ballerini just about beat Giulio Ciccone. And actually when you look at the top 10 of that race, there's a lot of climbers and a lot of GC guys in the top 10 of that, and you can see how that might be the case also in this race in 2022 because there's a 2 kilometre climb fairly close to the finish line, certainly within the last 50 kilometres, 6.6 kilometres at 5%, and then there's a lot of up and down terrain and then a kick up to the line. So I'm not sure if Ballerini is definitely going to win again, but you've certainly got Alaphilippe. He could be one who, they might try and get bonus seconds with Alaphilippe perhaps on this stage, just because to try and get a couple of seconds in the bank ahead of the Queen stage the day after. Of course, they could also go for Ballerini. Giulio Ciccone, after finishing second last year, could he actually get the win? Possibly. Patrick Bevin, we saw doing some reduced bunch sprints at the Tour of Romandy last year, where he was trying to go up against Colbrelli. Andrea van der Laan is here, a well-renowned puncher, usually does well at the Tour of Poland. and even Hayter, of course. How could I miss out Hayter so far? He's probably one of the favourites for this stage, and I think that he'll be just fine considering his team is full of climbers. They'll easily get him through all that rolling terrain. Some outsiders like Frank Bonnemore, Samuel Battistella and Aurélien Palais-Pentler, the winner of the GP Marseillaise back in 2021. So there's loads of riders who could win this stage. It kind of makes it quite difficult to predict, but I think that Quick-Step will be riding for Alaphilippe, and I think that Alaphilippe will win stage 2 of the Tour de la Provence ahead of a lot of other GC riders. Stage 3 starts in Manosque, where we finished in stage 2, but it finishes up the Montagne de l'Eure, which is, like 13.4 kilometers at 6.5%. It's a long climb. It's longer than the Chalet Renard, which we've kind of been used to the last 2 years, but it's not as steep. Chalet Renard averages about 9%, this averages 6.5%, so I think that favours Alaphilippe a bit more. It being a shallower gradient, he's usually fine as long as they are a category 1 climb, I find. And he's of course got such a good team around him. He's got James Knox, Ilan van Wilder, Louis Vervaeke, Andelys Devenants, all incredible riders. And he'll have Ballerini and Asgreen leading on the flats. But he's got some good competition in the likes of Quintana, who we saw doing an absolutely outstanding performance up Chalet Renard a few years ago. Then there's also, Richard Carapaz is down for this race, but how is he going to go early season? I'm under the impression that Carapaz doesn't go too well early season. Then you've also got Giulio Ciccone, who did well in this race last year, and he usually goes quite well early season as well. Of course, we'll have to see how he's going after the Volta Comunitat Valenciana. And then Ivan Sosa, who won up Chalet Renard last year, can he refine that form at Movistar? It's possible that he can do. I'm definitely not going to write him off, but perhaps the shallower gradients of like 6.5% perhaps don't favour Sosa as much and lean more towards Alaphilippe. So in my eyes, I think that Alaphilippe will win this stage just because he seems to have the strongest team, and I think the shallower gradients will be of a disadvantage to the likes of Sosa and Quintana and Carapaz, who would be much happier if they were going up Chalet Renard again. So with that all in mind, my GC podium for this race, I think that Julian Alaphilippe is going to win the Tour de la Provence. I think there's a lot of hype around him, and I think that his team is definitely tailored around him having a tilt at GC for this race. In second place, I think that Giulio Ciccone is going to finish in second place. Probably, not do too well at the Volta Comunitat Valenciana, just building form, and I think that he'll do really well in this race. His team, again, filled with a lot of really good climbers. There's, Gianluca Brambilla, Guy Black-Zabier, Skelmos Jensen, Dario Cataldo, Antoine Tolhoek. That's a team which is definitely focused around a GC aspect with Ciccone. And then third place is kind of difficult. I'm kind of between Quintana, Carapaz, Sosa, maybe even like Harm van Oka, because Lotte Soudal seem to be on such a roll at the moment. But I'm going to go with Ivan Sosa, refinding some good form from last year and finishing in third place. So that is my Tour de la Provence preview. Let me know if you think that anybody else might finish on the podium, if anybody else might win any of the stages. I'm intrigued to hear what you all have to say, and all that's left to say is to keep safe out there, and I'll see you in the next video. Salut!